Welcome back to Celebrity Scene News. Today we're with Luis Oreya and we're talking about marketing because he is the marketing director of the Rosarita Inn. But more importantly today, we want to share some experiences with you that will enlighten you, make you feel better, for you to have a better life, for you to be able to share with people. And I think one of those stories, Luis, you were telling me about, we were talking about the complications of society. And how people sometimes just have to do little things to make themselves feel better and know where their path in life is. And I'd like you to share that with us. And one of those experiences was with the actor Tom Wilkerson, who was in Little Boy, and his love for you through the positive energy that you gave to him and the love you gave to him, and then he understood.
Exactly. Well, first of all, thank you again. Thanks for the interview and thanks for to be able to share a little bit of something. It's interesting because I would have to say the energy, God, whatever you guys believe on, which is about all the same thing. What it is it's interesting because you always have the chance to meet really interesting people. And what it is life is all about, like, what you throw at life always comes back to you. That's one of the things that I noticed. And I've been really thankful about sharing experiences, like for instance with you right now, making a connection, with you guys. And also, like for instance, I wanna talk about the experiences with Mr. Wilkinson. I just recently was filmed over here a movie called Little Boy. What it is it was a very uplifting movie, which is going to come out probably, I have to say, in the fall or maybe at the beginning of the year, of next year. It is a story about, first of all, it's placed in World War II. It's about this little kid that his brother gets trapped, but then the dad, because he wants to save the kid, his son, basically he goes instead. So at those times, there were a lot of prejudice and there were a lot of bad stuff towards Japanese and German people and other things. So what is interesting is that there were one Japanese guy and the kid tries to channel all that anger towards him and part of the town too. So one of the interesting things it is because the message it is how the kid became friends with the Japanese guy, a really sweet guy and everything. That basically he was just by himself there, being a nice person. So what is interesting is in that movie is like a really packed movie with so many different stars that all together they came to a project to do an uplifting story, because I think at this time that's what we need. I mean, you turn on the TV and then you hear a lot of crazy stuff, but at the end of the day, I think more and more we want to hear good things. We don't want to hear negative things. So anyways, giving you that little background, one of the actors that came, it was Tom Wilkinson. If you don't recognize him right away, he's the guy who was in, like for instance, he was right now in Mission Impossible 4. He actually was the Department of the State, the head of the Department of the State, and the secretary. So what is interesting is that he came, and of course, I was his personal driver, and then he has his personal assistant. But one of the things that uplifted me more, it was how humble his attitude was. Like the first thing it is like when we had dinner, he basically tells me, please come on, first of all, you just go ahead and call me just Tom. Don't use Mr. Wilkinson. And he was with his wife also. He's been in the Kennedys too, Diana Hardcastle. And what it was interesting is that she's Diane, and as the time that it passes, we made a special connection, because I noticed that how sometimes you put people in pedestals, but at the end of the day, they're just simple people who want to make a connection the same way that we do, So the interesting thing about it was that, imagine that keep going and have dinner with his wife, but also the same moment going like, okay, Luis, just go ahead and have your dinner. You don't have to wait, just have your dinner, and invite somebody, and then we get together and enjoy. So at the end of the day, basically my story, what it's all about is how a person that is so, that how you can make a connection with somebody, and doesn't matter what is your background, or doesn't matter what is your, I mean, sometimes the connection that we do as human beings, we can do them no matter where you are. You know, I mean, I was basically just his driver, but we became his friend. You know, so the thing it is that is really nice, and it gives you a good feeling. Of course, but we're going back a little bit, talking about Rosarito and everything. One of the things that I noticed is at the end of the day, people don't want poses, they don't want fake, they just want to talk to each other, you know, in a very simple manner, you know, in a very, if you give them niceness, and sometimes it just takes a little bit, sometimes for you to bend your own, it's not like everything has to be perfect, you know, it's just a matter of seeing the person for what it is and what you can share.
Luis, now your life has been very interesting because you had two of your own businesses.
Yes.
And you had to restructure your life. You had there was a point where there was so much stress in your life that you did not want to deal with that. Let our audiences know how you rebuild and restructured your life, your spirituality, to a more balanced way of living.
Okay. Well, it's interesting, very humbling. I'm going to tell you my experience. You know, I mean, maybe you can share it, maybe don't. Or what it is through life, sometimes a lot of situations happen to you. When you're a kid, you think the life is going to go like you think that you have the blueprint of life. You know, you basically think, oh, my life is going to go this way, it's going to go that way, it's going to go that way, and basically in your mind, it's like you know what you're going to do. But what is interesting is because you are taught on certain ways how life is. The interesting thing about life is when you grow up, you know that there is nothing that they told you how it was going to be. You know, I mean, it's nothing, that blueprint, basically you just throw it away. So my point being that sometimes life doesn't make sense at all. And the more interesting, the faster that you learn that the trick of life, at least my humble experience, it is that it is how to be able to cope for whatever it throws you. So you see, that's the interesting part. Because sometimes we get caught up so much in how life's supposed to be, and we have this idea, this preconception, like for instance, oh, the person who's my partner, you know, my wife, or even my family has to be a certain way, or my boss has to be a certain way. Well, life doesn't work like that, you know. So what is interesting about is to just take life the way it is. Now, in this life, usually, I was taught there is always people who follow, and there is always people who push, you know. Sometimes, if you go for the harder one, which is when you push, you know, sometimes you take a lot of hits, you know, I mean, because what it is you thinking that your life, you want it to be a certain way, you know, but the thing is that you have to swim against the current. Now, it gets to a point sometimes when that is a little bit too much, you know, and I don't mean necessarily that you're going to go into a depression or something. So you simply, your spirit doesn't have that same bang, you know. A lot of people deal with different ways. I mean, some people do it with drugs, some people do it with, I don't know, they get depressed, and other people trying to simply avoid it. You know, I mean, some people try to say, hey, that doesn't exist, you know. So the thing it is, for the people who really want to go through it, which is the hardest thing, it is the hardest thing, it is an everyday work. And not only that, but it's something that you have to be aware of so many different things. And once that you get aware that you are not alone in this universe, that actually you are a part of a big chess game, do you understand that? The more that yourself, your spirit, and the self-awareness is going to be more, you're going to be happier, because then you notice that you are not alone in this universe.
So then, if that is the case, when people have some big trials and tribulations in their lives, and let's see, you know, let's talk about the kids today that come from broken homes, that are in gangs, that are ridiculed because they live in a neighborhood with gangs, and so they're threatened. What do you say to those people on how to overcome those obstacles in point, and at the same time that they overcome those obstacles, what is the power within you that allows you to be successful to this point in this present day?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I thank God I was never in a situation that harsh, but neither I'm going to pretend to be. But one of the things that I have to say, we have a saying over here in Mexico and probably all over the world, that you can be in the mud, but you don't have to get dirty. So like in my case, it depends, like, from, first of all, if you are a person who is a young person and who wants to make it into this world, you have to understand that first of all, what you have to do is have to have values in your life and basically have a code of ethics, but into yourself, which that's going to transpire into everything. Because the thing it is that you have to understand is that by definition, and not necessarily all the time, but by definition, our essence are good, our essence are uncorrupt. So the thing it is that as your life goes on, you make the decision to let that corrupt yourself or don't, So the thing it is, it just depends how do you want to see yourself. How do you want to, like first of all, you have to understand that to go from here to there, you have to have, basically the only thing that is going to uphold you is your values, your moral compass, and basically, and that's when the point being that no matter what life throws you at you, if you are really strict with those values, and I'm not talking neither religious, I'm not talking anything else, I'm just talking you and to the people who surround you, as simple as that, and to understand that you never have to be sarcastic about life, because that's one of the problems that we have right now in society. That we get so everything is negative, everything, but we are fit into a machine that everything is bad. It's like suddenly you turn on the news and then it's like, oh, they shoot that person, oh, they did that, oh, they did that. That is not the case. You have to turn around and look for the beautiful things. Whatever you want to find, you're going to find in life. You want to see bad things? Oh, believe me, you want to see the bad things. But if you want to see the good things, you're going to see the good things. So what I have to say also, and getting back a little bit what you were asking about, like for instance the kids, you have to understand that no matter how difficult your situation is, that is going to make you stronger. It's basically like a piece of steel that basically you're going to get stronger with the situations. But the first thing that they have to understand is at every point you have the choice to do whatever you want to do. Basically, you have to understand that you are the captain of your life and that you can do whatever, that you are in charge of your decisions, and don't let never somebody take away that right. Never, So basically what you have to be is a person who has to understand that, first of all, that you have the decisions. You basically put the rules on your own life. Now, it's easy because maybe that sounds a little, like, oh, how easy it is in words. But if you really dissect it and you understand, like, let's talk about real scenario, maybe a kid confronts himself like he has to be on a gang, just because he was born in that particular place. Well, guess what? You don't have to. Just trying to move out of there, because you don't have to get you don't have to get caught up with all that stuff, because you are more important than that. It's simple things, that you can think about,
There are a number of avenues that you say it's really all the same thing. And that, people, when they get in difficult situations, we all confront God and talk to God.
Oh, definitely.
But then some people, family values, some people pray, some people use meditation. What works for you to uplift your soul?
Okay. Well, this is going to sound really interesting because people sometimes what they want is to hear a silver bullet, So basically there is a whole array of different things that you can do. So everything depends on what you like. Like in my case, I'm going to be honest. I understood a long time ago that to be happy is is a whole package. Like something that I'm going to say that people, I don't think that they're going to understand, but once that you dissect it, it's going to be really interesting and you will think about it. To be happier starts by understanding that your mind, your body is actually like a machine. And to understand, like for instance, that just to give you an idea, people can get happier by just simply doing simple things. Like first of all, you feel like, oh, I'm always tired, oh, I'm always this, oh, I'm always that. Well, guess what? It's because you eat a lot of stuff that it makes you, your body, your system, your machine, it makes it feel like that it's tired all the time. But what about if to that machine you give it everything that it needs? And I'm not talking about products that you see on TV or nothing. Something as simple as take vitamins every day. Because you have to understand something. The brain is actually just like if it was a kidney or if it was as simple as that, it still needs certain elements to survive, And it's my personal experience that if you vitamin yourself, if you macronutrient yourself, and what I mean is that basically don't go and have of course go and have a hamburger or whatever you want, but also to understand that you have to give the body whatever they need. And what it is this. Through vegetables, through juices and everything, you can get all the nutrients. Through vitamins, you get all the nutrients that you need for your brain, for your processing everything, like even to lose weight, So it doesn't have to be difficult and complicated. Okay, that's going from a biological point of view. But okay, now what about to the other process? Like my personal view is that please don't get caught up in technicalities. Like if you go to church, don't get too much into it that it gets to a point like, for instance, oh my God, if I had a bad thought, a ray is going to come and kill me, or oh, he's going. I mean, it's not about that. I mean, it is always about keeping it simple, about understanding that God gives you certain tools that is like your heart, it's your brain. Like everybody has had the time where basically you see somebody and then suddenly your heart just starts vibrating, and then it says, oh my God, how about if I will help that people? It's really interesting because that's basically a way to know that that's the right thing to do.
Plus, the ocean and the flowers and the different colors of the flowers.
Of course.
They change your mood and they uplift you automatically.
Oh yeah. The ocean, the good music, even a good conversation. Even something as simple as a good conversation. Even somebody giving you a smile, that uplifts you. And there's so many wonderful things about life. Like even if you go to YouTube and watch the videos about Mother Earth, and you will see an amazing things. So instead of watching negative things, just simply watch all the beauty that is out there, and even us, we have a lot of beauty to give, and that is the trick. It is to get the beauty out of the people that is around you. Don't get the negativity. I mean, why? Or whatever. If you like negativity, well, but I don't think that we do.
Well, Luis, I want to thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
You out there, life is beautiful. If you want it to be so, let it be so. From Celebrity Scene News on a beautiful day in Rosarito Beach, I'm Pete Allman, and this is Luis